Oh, son of a gun. Where's Gavlan, though? I just want to know why go to the gym, though. Cases are low here, and the government has said that gyms can open up as long as they, in principle, respect the guidelines. Where's Gavlan? That's fair. That's fair. It's just, I didn't even realize it was... I mean, I knew it was a hot-button issue. But I was also like... People are like, do what the doctors say. But then when the doctors say, like... If you take precautions, you can go outside. People are like, don't listen to him anymore. Oh, I almost fell. I will say, there's two things that will make me not go to the gym, though. One of the things is if the numbers get much higher, for sure. Or even if there's a... I mean, I don't know what my threshold is. Basically, if the public health precaution changes and they say shut that shit down again, I'm out of there. Don't hit me. However... I lived. The other one is if they're like, it's gonna take, you know, 2 hours for you to get into the gym. You have to check in first. And then we'll text you when it's ready to go. I ain't going. We'll do the, we'll continue the dumbbell workout at home. Alabama had their most cases ever on Monday. I don't live in Alabama. I don't live in Alabama. There's like 43 states and an international border. I'm stunned that people are like, don't trust the Surgeon General, trust Twitch chat. I'm dying. YouTube, if you're watching this, don't listen. Follow your local health guidelines. Help. You didn't quarantine for Zika? Dude. I'm trying to... There's a joke in here somewhere. I quarantined for the T virus, dude. I knew there was a joke in there somewhere. It's Gavlan! It's not Gavlan. I get... No, I read the comment. I get it. Look. This is good. This particular comment is going to rub people the wrong way. And that's why I'm relishing this, like, 30 seconds before I say it. But I get, like, it's messed up in America right now. When things are good in America, and you're not from America, you gotta deal with Americans making fun of your money for not all being green. And like, oh, what's that? $1 in your country? Whoa, that's like, you know, 25 cents in my country. Isn't this a joke we can both laugh at? And now that shit's a little bit messed up in America, every other country has to be like, whoa, why aren't you going through the same shit as America right now? We're getting screwed at both ends. Fellow colonial nations. Australia, New Zealand. Help me. Back me up in this one. As an American, please make fun of us. This is the first comment I read, and I'm gonna choose to go on that one. Anyway, I apologize because it's a controversial issue, but I'm gonna stick to my guns on this one. Just in the sense that if the government and, you know, Dr. Bonnie Henry says it's okay to go to the gym if you take precautions, I'm gonna go back to the gym. And if a week later she's like, I was wrong, I'm gonna be like, you know, it happens. I'm going back from the, I'm not gonna go to the gym anymore. And then if a week later, she's like, you can go back to the gym again, I'm going to be like, thanks, Bonnie Henry. I'll go back to the gym. And then if 2 days after that, she's like, is fucked, I'm going to be like, okay, I'm going to cancel my gym appointment. I'll do what the doctors tell me when they tell me. I understand that science is a response to information. And as information changes, you know, the conclusions of the scientists change as well. I'm not one of those people who's like, what, 2 months ago you said don't wear a mask. You know, I get it. But I am surprised how many people in chat don't seem to. That's kind of where I'm at on that one. I'm a little disappointed, I'm not gonna lie. Not because people disagree with me, but because I think people are treating it as a bad faith argument. I think we all are. I'm not. I was treating it as a reasonable, good faith discussion. Except for the anti-American part. That part was mostly just for my own amusement. Is Monster Train coming to the Switch? We're not talking about Monster Train right now. Also, I don't know. That's a question for the publisher. Excuse me. Yeah, well, you guys lost the War of 1812. No, that's not how you troll Canadians. They didn't lose the War of 1812. They just didn't win the War of 1812. If you say you lost the War of 1812, the Canadian can come back to you and be like, that's not true. But if you say they didn't win, you're saying a true statement. You're gonna get under their skin. It's like you don't even listen, dude. I'm losing it right now. I'm giving you the keys to the kingdom every day. People didn't even take notes. Wayne Gretzky isn't even that good? You're not gonna troll a Canadian by, like, lying to them. We're used to Americans saying things that are wrong. That's just another day at the office for us. If you want to get under their skin, you have to hit them with a little bit of, like, an insidious fact. Instead of just recycling that old Daniel Radcliffe interview where he's like, if you want to see a Canadian go crazy, just call it ice hockey. They don't know what to do. They just call it hockey. If you call it ice hockey, they're like, what are you talking about? Fucking wrong, Harry Potter. I've never, ever been bothered by that shit in my life. I don't know who the hell you were talking to that sold you that bridge. I would just like to lion strap, please. When did he say that? It was an interview that was probably like 8 years ago. Miss the lever. I'm dead. You remember an interview from 8 years ago, but it didn't bother you? Well, it was more because, like, I saw the interview, and I was like, that's kind of cute. And then it got posted on Reddit and got like 100,000 upvotes, and people were like, I do this all the time and it works. And I'm like, I get it. You've never left your house. And then I've been tweeted it as well, like 20 times, probably lifetime over the course of my existence on the social media platform, which is not as much as what you egg, he stabs him, but it is more than, like, I've been sent the picture of Joel McHale dressed as the dean from Community, although that has also gone way up because Community came on Netflix recently. So people are like, I saw your doppelganger, and even before I click it, I'm like, I bet this is that episode of Community where Joel McHale dresses up as the dean. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just a picture of an egg. And on that one, I'm like, my expectations have been subverted. What does the future of conventions look like for you? Well, like, up until March, even with the baby stuff, we were like, we'll probably go to PAX this year, pre-COVID. I want to be very clear so this is not taken out of context. As pre-COVID. However, the fact that, like, they're still doing PAX West, I'm like, come on. Like, at least they haven't officially canceled it yet. And they went one step further and also said, like, hey, just so you know, we're not planning on canceling it. This was like a month ago. And I'm like, dude, it's like 100 people in a room, depending on how things look, might be okay. But like 70,000 people in a convention center, I'm like, that's like insanity. So there is no way, even if PAX goes on this year, that we'll be going. I believe. I think we're on the same page there. Probably like 25% of PAX attendees got sick every year to begin with. It just seems like terrible optics. Dude, this area is nasty. Who's the boss here? It's a large... It's one of the two-handed creatures, but it has 4 hands, right? That sounds right. And it's inside of a boat. Yo, Teddy Hoffian. Thank you, thank you. It's a two-headed boy. Flexile Sentry. You fight him like in one of these. Yeah, I remember. Oh my god. I got killed by a kick. I actually didn't think it was gonna work. I thought it was just gonna push me. Look, this is the point of fists. We want fists to be bad, so there's fun. So it's funny. We'll take it slow. Come on. We'll take it slow. If we fight enemies 1 to 2 at a time, we can get them. But it is hard to do that when Dark Souls 2 spawns 25 enemies to ambush you. And the arrows curve. Come on up, buddy. Don't be shy, put some more. I mean, if we can get out of this only losing 1 Estus for this part, not bad. Not bad. Of course I remember the lyrics to Neutral Milk Hotel songs. I listen to Dan Carlin. What are you attacking, dude? The April highlight video keeps showing up in my recommended feed, and the thumbnail scares the crap out of me. Honestly, the YouTube algorithm has been very kind to me lately. I've seen a lot of people are like, look at how much like Monster Train is showing up in recommended videos, and I'm like, that's sick. I appreciate it. We're playing by the algorithm's rules. We're making good content. It gets high watch times. And then I'm asking people to reaffirm it by liking the video. And it's like we're pushing, we're lifting a heavy stone. You know? It starts out slow, but once you get it off the ground, it's a little bit easier. Once you get it to your knees, it's a little bit easier. And then once you get it, you know, past your thighs, you drop it because you told chat you were going back to the gym in the middle of the worst pandemic in a century. And then it goes back to the ground, but then you make a joke about Neutral Milk Hotel and you get it off the ground again. And once you get it off the ground, you got to get it back to your knees, and it gets a little bit easier. It gets a little bit easier. On a scale from 1 to 10, how much do you recommend Monster Train? It's a 10 recommendation. That doesn't mean I think it's a 10 out of 10 game, but I think it's like, I think it's extremely good. It's very easy to recommend. Like, Slay the Spire is a 10 out of 10 game, in my opinion. But it's like, for recommendations, it's like an 8. I'm like, the art's not all that necessarily. It doesn't bother me, but like a lot of people don't seem to like the art. And then like on top of that, you know, it's, I don't want to call it like inaccessible, but if you're going to do like the hard stuff, it takes a long, long time to get to that point. Monster Train is like a lot more accessible, I think, which makes it easier to recommend, even if as a game, I wouldn't say it's worse necessarily, but I do prefer Spire. Okay, we're not supposed to lion strat here, but we can lion strat like a little. Mostly because I don't want to fight those guys to begin with. Look, don't be rude to Cardinal. It's in early access. I think it has some interesting ideas, but it's definitely not there yet. There we go. You were rude to it earlier? Yeah, because I played it. None of y'all have played it. You don't get the privilege of insulting it. Can we be rude to that other game that had 50,000 tutorial pop-ups? Look, I'm not going to answer that question. All I'm going to say is it's been... Northernlion Tries has been up and down. It's been up and down over the past week. There's been a lot of like really cool stuff. And hopefully, I think tomorrow we're checking out Poly Bridge 2, which is going to be sick. But... There have been some days where I've been like, what the heck are you, dude? There have been some days where I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna play. What are you? And then I go to Steam and I go, let's figure it out. And I'm like, oh, this game has positive reviews. And then I play it, and I'm like, I was lied to. Not gonna say that's what happened there, but... There's a shortcut. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Kickable bridges. Kickable bridge. Kickable bridge. Just like to hit you. I would just like to hit you. Now GBV, that's a band. Dude, I could talk. People are amazed that I like good music, because I talk about a lot of music that is not considered Fantano worthy. I could talk your ear off over any indie band that was popular between like 1990 and 2010. Now, this is not your cue to start just listing off names. You want to talk about Guided by Voices? Sure, let's talk about Guided by Voices. What's your favorite Guided by Voices album? Honestly, I always heard that B1000 was the best, and B1000 is, like, really good. Don't get me wrong. Like, I am a scientist, I seek to... And it's really good, and, like, standing out on your house, watching hardcore UFOs. But then when I listened to Alien Lanes, I was like, dude, Alien Lanes... freaking slaps. I mean, side one, track one, the club is open. But then, dude, if you go back, listen to frickin' Propeller. Propeller is like unbelievable. Like the way that album starts, and like, dude, Weed King. That's a great album, or a great song. It is a great album as well, but. Alright, there's a lot of boys here. One sec. I'm not making these up. This is Guided by Voices. I'm not freaking with you right now. Hello, sir. I'm not freaking with you. Not only do I love Guided by Voices, I legitimately own, in paperback, the Guided by Voices biography and retrospective, which is hilarious because they've released, like, probably 20 albums since it came out in the early 2000s. They released it just after they broke up or did their last concert, but like their last concert was like it was a huge event, and then like less than 10 years later, they're like, we're getting the band back together. Tell Me About Wolf Parade. I mean, Apologies to the Queen Mary, classic album. I Believe in Anything. That's like an all-time indie rock, like, pump-up song. It's fantastic. Truly bizarre music video as well. I love it. And then, I mean, come on. Everybody thought they had, like, an Andre 3000 big boy thing. Spencer Krug and Dan Beckner. Everybody was like, Spencer Krug's the creative genius. Then, what does Dan Beckner do? Goes off and forms an electro-pop side project called Handsome Furs. Releases one of the best albums of 2006. I saw them play at the Grad Club in Kingston. It was pretty good. Isn't that right, Zach? Which of the first 3 Modest Mouse albums is the best? I mean, now I'm thinking, I'm like, what are the first 3? There's Lonesome Crowded West, It's a Long Drive for Someone with Nothing to Think About, and The Moon in Antarctica. Are those the first 3? Or is The Moon in Antarctica the 4th and I'm missing one? Those are the first 3? I still gotta go with The Moon in Antarctica, to be honest. But I'll admit, Lonesome Crowded West is really good. Long Drive is kind of like the double sip, dude. Long Drive is kind of the odd man out, but it's still very good as well. Sip it, dude. Ugh, this makes my socks feel weird just being down here. What about Megadeth? I mean, when I get back to the gym, it's not #1 on the gym playlist, but I can get down with some Hangar 18. Yo, Ranger451, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's like, the thank yous are for the gift subs, but then there's an extra thank you in cumulative for all the gift subs over the years. I can't imagine NL playing Megadeth into Hall & Oates in the gym. It's like Megadeth, Hall & Oates, Stephen Malkmus solo projects, Roland Jenkins or Ronald Jenkins, 100 Gex. I'll listen to everything except rap and country. I just like all music, except rap and country. I'll listen to anything that they would play on the radio in America. It's a joke. No! It's a joke because that's what, in my era, people said when they wanted to seem like they were cultured. They'd be like, I listen to any music, but I don't like country or hip-hop or anything that's not in English or anything without words. Like, I don't like any instrumental music. No classical, except maybe like one classical song from a video game, maybe. And then, like, also, I prefer like acoustic music to any music with electronic elements. That was everybody's Zanga profile. Everything but rap and country equals I exclusively listen to 3 Days Grace. Hey man, you don't make fun of the pride of Peterborough like that. I saw them before they blew up, dude. I saw them play the Havelock County Jamboree. They brought it down. I listen to a little country. Yeah, Sturgill Simpson. Not the album cuts, but the time he sang Oh Sarah on the Conan show. That just hit different, dude. Oops. I really thought I was gonna roll and I was gonna come across as like badass. Can we cancel hit different? It's just culture, you know? Like, don't get riled up. It's just culture. Phrases come in and out of popularity. I mean, like, you know, in the 1990s, there were people that were like, can we stop using the phrase awesome? Like, it doesn't literally inspire awe. Now we're sitting here in 2020. awesome is just part of the vernacular.